Here we are on our deck, and it is April 16th. Today, planted potatoes did a little bit later than last year, maybe 2 weeks later. We got red potatoes here in these two buckets, purple potatoes, more red potatoes here in this medium-sized bucket, and then over here we got yellow potatoes. So middle of April start to our potatoes. We'll see how things go. It's May 28th and the potatoes are doing really well. And actually this batch right here, which I think is the purple potatoes, are actually starting to flower. Holy cow, it's not even June yet. And we already have some flowers forming. These other potatoes, the red potatoes and the Yukon Gold, are not flowering yet. It is June 26th, and some of these golden potato plants seem to be turning brown even before they flower. I don't see any flowers. I see a little bit of this rust on the leaves and a golden color. I think I'm going to take one of these buckets and see what potatoes I have. So here we are about to dump out our potato bucket here. A couple things I'll say before we dump this out. This is a little bit of an experiment. Number one, I used less soil this time. I didn't keep on layering the soil as the plant grew. Number two, I didn't fortify the soil with nutrients again this year. So this soil is a little bit less nutrient rich than last year's batch. And number three, I planted the potatoes a little bit later. I planted them the end of March. And we are harvesting the end of June, so it's just 3 months. I should note that all the other plants last year had flowers, and this plant in particular has no flowers. So let's see what it looks like. And so here's our yield over here from these 3 or 4 potato plants in a bucket filled with soil up to that line there. So not really a huge volume of soil. Not so bad, although I think I'm a little late here. We got 3 of the biggest potatoes have rotted already, suggesting I waited too long. Makes me want to take care of the rest of the Yukon Gold now, that is, harvest them instead of waiting any longer. We lost about 25% or more of our yield by weight to rot, so I think I'm going to go ahead and harvest the rest of the 2 buckets. Here are the other 2 buckets. Each of them is in even a smaller bucket than the original one that I just did. These are probably 4-5 gallons of soil, and as you can see, some of the leaves are turning golden. This one by itself looks pretty healthy. We'll see if there's a different type of potato at the base. So from the other 2 buckets, I ended up getting these 2 piles of potatoes, and again I had a certain amount of rotten potatoes. Again, I think I left these plants too long. That amounted to about 25% loss. So let's pull our stuff together, wash it up, and see what we got. And here is one of our 3 buckets of red potatoes. This is the smallest bucket. It's got about 5 gallons of soil in it. And it's starting to turn a little brown in some of the leaves, so I thought maybe I'd harvest it and see. I think this is red potatoes. And this is our late June harvest of red potatoes from that 5-gallon bucket. Kind of a small yield. These are the right size potatoes for small red potatoes, but the number is not large. I could have let them grow larger to enhance the yield by weight, So I think we harvest these a little bit earlier than I would prefer, and so I'm going to leave these 2 other buckets of red potatoes going for at least a couple more weeks. And then we'll see how much we're getting out of them and what size the potatoes are. It's July 4th and we're going to empty out 1 more of these red potato buckets and see what we got.
What's the milk done?